Oh, welcome back. I had to go and check on a few things. Because, Pandora's been clawing at the carpet by my door. So, what my dad did is my mom got me some stuff to put in front of the door so she would stop clawing at the carpet. So my dad went and taped it, and she managed to get a piece of the tape off and was playing with it. We mustn't dally here any longer. Edgar F. Becklug is to hear the truth of our travails, and the first, you of all people should be present. You may be the warrior of darkness, but to us you will always be our comrade and brother. Whatever your travels may take you, know that you will always have a second home at the Crystorium. I don't remember him being there. And now Pandora is going around screaming because because I threw the tape away that she was playing with. Well, threw it away by hiding it under the other trash that's in the trash because she's a dumpster diver.
I'm sorry. You mean to tell me not only that the return of night was your doing, but that you hail from another world as well?
Everything we told you, of the source, the shards, the 7 umbral calamities, all of it is true. I realize how fantastical it sounds, and I would not blame you for doubting our testimony. But given your expertise, you must surely have noted the peculiar nature of their souls.
Any other time and I would have dismissed your stories as balderdash and flummery. But upon closer inspection, 'tis plain their souls are far denser than is normal, and that they do not possess true bodies. Save you. Your body is your own, and your soul is the densest of them all.
As I said before, were it not for their heroism, the skies over Norvrant would still be awash with light, the realm yet at the mercy of 4-3 and the Sin Eaters. After all they have done for our home, seeing them safely back to their own, it seems the very least we can do.
Your tale is intriguing. Yes, very intriguing indeed. Simply to hear it is fitting payment in itself. As for your friends, I can but agree. Their valorous deeds on behalf of Norvrant are deserving of recognition, of their own fitting payment.
You will help us then?
Just slaps
I
him.
will. I would see my knowledge put to good use for a change. I do have one condition, however. I am not the spry young Numo I once was. As such, I will require assistance in my fieldwork and testing.
It would be our pleasure. We'll be laboring for our own benefit after all.
You have spun quite a tale, but tell me, have you gotten any thought as to how you might return to your world? White Orsite, you say, an intriguing proposition, but one which fails to account for the present state of your souls. They have become highly charged, likely as a consequence of having maintained tangible form for so long. As such an energetic, unstable state, there is no telling what may happen to their soul within the Orsite. They could very well become immutable to transference, never to be restored to their bodies. Then would it be possible to force our souls into a state of dormancy prior to transference? In theory, yes, but the soul is not a candle to be snuffed out and relit on a whim. Oh, that sounds ominous. What exactly would render our souls dormant entail? A sledgehammer to the back of the head! In order to maintain a corporeal form, your soul constantly draws ether from your surroundings. This process must be halted, and the resulting surfeit of ether removed. Your mind would ultimately be separated from these fox bodies of yours, rendering you incapable of interacting with the world around you. A cruel fate under normal circumstances, but one which will be rectified upon your return home. Leaving lifeless husks like those poor souls at the inn at Journey's Head, corrupted by the Sin Eaters, their ether made stagnant by the light. Corrupted? Stagnant? Might I see these unfortunate individuals? Why, do you think you might be able to help them? I might or may not, but I shan't know for sure until I have seen their condition firsthand. Then I would be glad to take you to them on the understanding that you won't do anything which might increase their suffering. It was my faith in man I lost, not my compassion. Well, I see no need for all of us to accompany you. While you escort our guests to the end, I will assist Oriange in creating the required Orsite. I believe my talents would be better applied to the endeavor as well. Might I leave the three of you to assist Bakalug as necessary? Let us make for Amarang then. Toddle to your destination. Oh yeah, I guess they are technically next to a wall of light. So I kind of wonder why these flying things are still here. Alright. So this is Halric, is it? Yes, his etheric balance leans precisely towards the light, towards stasis. What do you suppose will happen to him? Not too bright, are you, boy? The same as all poor souls corrupted by the light, he will become a Sin Eater. You don't know that. We defeated the wardens and banished the light from the night sky. Ulrich was completely unresponsive before, but now... He blinks! Before, he didn't even blink. Then perhaps there is yet hope. If I may, there is a treatment I wish to administer to the patients. What sort of treatment? In the course of my studies of the soul, I once created a tonic which could temporarily stimulate the ether in one's body. After some refinement, it came to be used by the Knights of Wolbert. Then for far darker purposes. Lest it fall into the wrong hands, I swore never again to make it, but for their sakes, I will break that oath. It will not like to reverse the stagnation, mind you, but it should offer some measure of relief. Rub this in their face! This potent tonic, invented by Beck during the time of Vobert, is said to revitalize the soul, both figuratively and literally. Stares blankly at you. It would seem the tonic had no effect. What is this warmth I feel in my chest? Oh, he's having a heart attack. I believe this is having the opposite effect of what we wanted. Come, let's see what effect my tonic has on their ether, if any. Oh, we might have killed one of them. Please let this work. Wasn't she one of the caretakers? Leave this one to me, Edgar. I feel warm and my legs, they don't feel as heavy. Oh, we've killed one of them and we cured somebody's inability to walk. Now then, have you noted any changes in the patients? A notable rise in body temperature and increased motor function in most of the patients at least. The more severe afflicted show no response. As I feared then. 'Twas true that with the restoration of night and the corruption influence of light will no longer grow, and yes, their bodies will naturally return to equilibrium given time, but this holds true only for the corporeal ether. Their incorporeal ether, that of the soul, is not so easily mended. Which is why those in the later stages of corruption, like Ulrich, appear unaffected by the tonic. Precisely. The boy's soul is too far gone, his mind held together by the finest of threads. There's a chance he may one day recover, of course, but it could take years, decades even. By the gods, he could wake to find himself an old man. The final reward for his persistence, the opportunity to mourn the life he never had a chance to live. Now, there must be something we can do. Look, I realize this is not why we petitioned your aid, but do you think it possible we can find a way to hasten their recovery? Maybe. Or do I think it impossible that in treating them we might learn something of relevance to your own predicament? By the end of this, Edgar's just going to have a bag filled with food that he's forgotten to eat. I suppose the Crystal Exarch has told you of my past, that I was once a mage of the Royal Court of Vobert, and that soulcraft was my field of study. The tonic you administered to the patient here's one of the fruits of my labors. I hoped to do great things for the kingdom. But in the end, my knowledge brought only suffering, a plague that like of which none had ever seen. In the hands of unscrupulous men, what should have been my greatest triumph instead became my greatest shame. That I do, a comforting thought indeed. But let us return to the task at hand, finding a means by which we might revitalize these peoples' incorporeal ether. Do you think it can be done? Are the skies still ablaze with primordial light? I would call it an exercise in futility, but now we might have a chance. The method I have in mind will entail the conjuring of a familiar. They are able to amplify the energies poured into them, making them the perfect conduit for the ether revitalizing magics we will ultimately employ. If you're about to launch into a lengthy explanation of the metaphysical of your plan, don't bother. I'd rather get on with doing whatever it is that needs to be done, if it's all the same to you. Whatever reagents must be procured or spells invoked, I'll do it. I admire your spirit. Very well, your first task will be to gather the necessary materials. The purest waters and the finest of clays, as well as a fey lantern brimming with pixie magic. If you're convinced the resulting familiar should help the patients, fine. Alphino, the water and clay will be simple enough, but I think you know what we'll have to do to get the lantern. You don't mean... The pixies took quite a liking to us before. If we humor them with our company, I'm sure they'll be willing to help us. Fine, we'll pay a visit to El Meg, though I never thought you would be the one to suggest going back there. I'm impressed you've been there at all, let alone befriended the Fey folk. While you're about it, seek out the Numau of Palaeni. They will be able to supply you with water suitable for our needs. Alright, let's get this over with, shall we? Where Edgar get clay? There still remains the matter of the clay. Might it prevail upon you to find it? Clay from Amarang would likely be best. Know you of anyone who might be able to assist us? Yes, they will be able to point you in the right direction, I am sure. While you and the twins are occupied, I will see if there is aught else I can learn of the stagnation which afflicts the people here. Just picks up Halric and just starts shaking him. Your soul will no longer be stagnant. Edgar, well, what a coincidence. You've come at a good time. We just, this moment, finished repairing the Talos and trolley you lot took to Nabatharang. The trolley was no trouble, but the Talos would have been another matter had we not had a visit from Master Chai. He offered us a share of the leftover building materials from Daedalus Stoneworks, as well as a few trade secrets to help us along. Clever man, that Chai knows. He seemed pretty keen on the ideas I had for putting the great Talos to work. Like a giant trolley, but Magnus still refused to see all the good we could do with it. You're entitled to your dreams, Jarek, but that doesn't mean you can go harassing our guests with them. Master Chai was just being polite. And something tells me Edgar here didn't come all this way to talk about trolleys. What is it you need, friend? Clay! Lots of it! I see, and this familiar requires clay from Amarang. Well, look no further. If anyone can find you some quality clay, it's us. Saying that is exactly a commodity nowadays, but there must be some lurking somewhere in or other, waiting to be dug up. If I'm not mistaken, there was a time when they used to take clay from Mount Barren mines to make audible bricks. Place in swarming with coyotes now, but if you're after the good stuff, you could do worse than to look there. I'll be right back. Pandora's doing more things. As soon as I closed them, she immediately jumped back out and messed with them all over again. Okay, so that's where we need to go. Just had to keep an eye on Pandora. Yeah, that's my handkerchief, Pandora. Oh, the nannies here are a lot more aggressive than they are on the source, by the looks of it. Yep, how did I know it was going to attack? Yeah, Pandora's got back to going around screaming her head off. Well, the only reason why I was even getting these, the Crypt Lurker stuff, was simply because of the earring, because of that's what the lemurs were wearing. So I'm like, oh, I'll just grab those. In my personal playthrough, I managed to actually get the full set of the Crypt Lurker for the summoner. The pixies were constantly confusing me with Alizé, and just I assume, I mean, it's not as if we look that much alike. We don't look that much alike, do we? That had better be the only thing we need from the pixies. If I had to endure one more prank, so help me gods. The twins have returned, and in one piece at that. I was convinced the pixies would turn at least one of them into a garden ornament but no. You have the clay, I take it. A finely grained soil material found in Amarang. Wonderful, we need but combine the water and the clay and the water and heat the mixture with the Fey lantern. After that, it will be a simple matter of settling upon a suitable form and performing the necessary incantation. Beglug, I have a question. In the event that we have need of this spell and you weren't around, would it be possible for another to perform the incantation? Assuming they possess the required skills? Yes. Howrick and the others have suffered so much, and I swore to do everything in my power to save them. If there's a chance this spell could do that, I would be the one to invoke it. Mayhap you should be the one to do so. A deep understanding of the subject's physical state, combined with a strong desire to help them, can drastically increase the magic's effect, and you are plainly more familiar with these people than I. I dare say there are few in all of Norvrent more dedicated to finding a cure. Is that not so, Edgar? Very few, but if aught should go awry, I'll see what I can do. Is that a challenge? Well, I'll be damned if I let it come to that. Then we are all of a mind on the matter. Alize shall be the one to conjure the familiar.
Let us begin. I trust you've prepared the clay? Very good. Now, I would have you sculpt for me a porksy. Plump, with floppy ears and a short curly tail.
A porksy. I think I know what you mean.
Alize, you've killed how many in that dungeon?
There we are. How's that?
The fuck am I looking at? Something went wrong with the mouth, and where's its tail?
Well, it is certainly creative. There's no denying that.
Yes, I'm no artist. Very funny.
Pay him no mind, child. Though it may look like a grotesque parody of reality, it is what the invoker believes that matters.
You're not helping.
But I speak the truth. If successful, this incantation will turn imagination into reality. Which is why the only thing of import is what you believe this figure embodies. You must focus. Hold the Porksy's image steady in your mind's eye.
Then what would be the point of shaping the clay?
Now then, as I taught you, relax and allow your energies to flow.
With flesh of clay I bid thee rise, on wings of dreams to touch the skies. What once was idle fantasy, I call forth to reality.
Not bad for a first attempt. Now, let us see what can be done for young Halric. Through the operation of the magics you invoked to animate this familiar, it is now replete with the energies required to stir the boy's soul. You need but give it a name, and it will do as your heart desires.
Sirloin. Biscuit.
A name. All right, I've decided. Now. Go, Angelo!
I mean, he moved.
Mother...
Oh, it worked. How is he, Beck, look? Did it work? I believe it did. You and your fledgling familiar have done well. If my eyes do not deceive, a hint of color has returned to his soul. Gods, I would jump for joy if I weren't so exhausted. We're so close now, Halric. As you are even now in the process of discovering this magic asks much of the invoker, what you may not have realized is that the same is also true of the subject. As such, we must proceed with caution, however. With further treatment, I have the utmost confidence the boy will make a full recovery. Observing the reanimation of his stagnant soul has been most enlightening. I will need time to put my theory to the proof, but I believe I can fashion a spell to produce the opposite effect. That is, to induce stagnation. I'm going to turn you on to silliness. This enable our safe transport back to the source via Orsight. A thought occurred to me about this treatment. Becklook said when the soul is rendered dormant, the mind is separated from the body, that a person becomes incapable of interacting with the world around them. Does this not sound like some of the tempered back in the source? Not really. It is the fate of most tempered to become a slave to primal, save in a handful of cases. Am I missing something? If I can master this technique, the art of revitalizing the soul, I know at least one in the source who could desperately use such treatment. Exactly, his condition is uncannily similar to Halric's, is it not? The only difference being that his soul was suffused with earth aspected ether instead of light. It follows that if his soul is subjected to a similar kind of stagnation, there may be a chance we can save him, right? Forgive me, but who is this Gabu? fellow of whom you speak. I see his condition does sound familiar, yet there is much and more about the soul that remains unknown even to me. I say this not to discourage you, you understand, but to remind you that this is a delicate work we do here, work requiring patience. Of course, and so long as there is hope for the patients here, I will devote whatever time it is needed to see this through. But I refuse to spend that time in idleness. If it's all the same to you, I would like to stay here with Angelo and continue with our treatment. The two of you should return to the Crystorium with Backlog and see if you can make some headway with their newly posted theories. I would tell you to rest first, but I see you're not to be convinced. The fire of youth. Let's return to the Crystorium then. Finally, I found you. Somebody with a knife disappears. Oh no, it's somebody who's had a knife in him. Cashier, what are you doing all the way out here? There's trouble back in Yulmore. Lady Chai's beside herself, sighing, pacing the whole lot. Never enough. Near enough begged me to go and find you. Sighing and pacing, you say? It must be urgent. I take it I will be returning to Crystorium alone. Go on then. It's not as if I have anything for you to do. Thank you, Backlog. Sorry for bothering you and all that, but she says the future of Yulmar's at stake. I guess we take the middle one. Lady Chai's up in the parlor. Best not keep her waiting, eh? Well, not here seems out of the ordinary, though I do not see Lady Chai anywhere. Probably pacing around outside again, staring off into the distance and all that, sighing. Strange, let's see if we can't find her and discover the source of her distress.
Thank heavens you're here.
Lady Chai, whatever is the matter?
I knew not where else to turn. Oh, this is all too much for my poor heart to bear alone.
Alone? What of Master Chai?
That is the very reason I summoned you. He's gone.
What? What happened?
It all began after the events at Mount Golg. With Lord Vorthry out of the way, we all agreed that a new leader must be chosen.
And so you held an election?
Yes, well, sort of. Not a single person volunteered to stand, you see. After a lifetime of leisure, we free citizens have grown somewhat
indolent. Readapting to the harsh realities of life is trying enough, but to take charge of a broken city as well? No one wanted such responsibility. Nevertheless, Yulmore could not well do without a leader, and so we decided that anyone and everyone should be considered a candidate. And after we cast our ballots and tallied the votes, the mayorship fell upon my dear husband.
Well, given the manner in which he orchestrated the construction of the giant Talos, none could deny his leadership qualities.
But even before then, he had proven himself at Daedalus Stoneworks, don't forget. He is more than qualified for the role. The perfect choice. Indeed. I told him as much when his victory was first announced. But perhaps I was too forceful in my attempt to encourage him. For shortly after that, he vanished without a word.
You'll find him hiding in a corner crying, probably.
You believe he was so daunted by the burden of leadership that he felt compelled to flee? Please, Lady Chai, dry your eyes. Your husband does not strike me as the sort of man who would abandon his duty, much less his beloved wife. There has to be some other reason for his absence.
You truly think so? What about you? What do you think has become of my husband?
Yeah, he's still here. He's just in the corner crying. Or having a panic attack.
And there you have it, Lady Chai. You needn't worry. Master Chai loves you more than all the world, and he will return. Wherever he may have gone, rest assured we will find him.
Thank you, my dear boy. You have set my mind at ease. I will trust in my husband and await his return.
And got potato salad. Inventory. It makes no sense for Master Chai to have left without a word, but even if he had, he would not have done so unobserved. Someone here will have seen something, I am sure of it. We should split up and inquire as to whether anyone saw him leave, or failing that, if they have any idea where he might have gone. I will meet you at the Glory Gate to compare notes later on. Hold on, F&O. Something of importance has happened. Eh. This keeps taking me ace. What did that give us? Card. That's shy. Well, yes, I spoke with him recently, though I recall he was in a rather dour mood considering concerned about Yulmore's neglect of industry. You see, with Lord Vothry apparently in exhaustible stores of mule and no great need for money, it's little wonder our businesses were all but forgotten under his rule. But I assured Master Chai that the Quay of Splendors will do all it can to contribute to the revival of trade here in Yulmore, which seemed to satisfy him. He took his leave soon after. Stagnation of trade. Who's the blue by the armor keep? Yet another striking opportunity. Nope. I've learned not to do this stuff. There's only one side quest that we're doing in the post expansion. Like for Master Chai, are you? It seemed something amiss. When last I saw him, he seemed ready to collapse from exhaustion. I assisted his wrist and catch his breath, and we talked for a while. After his concerns over the city's defenses, amidst other things, he made more than a few valid points. Many of our men are still recovering after your confrontation with Lord Vothry, and finding General Ranjit in a heap in the middle of the plaza shook us all to the core. The man commanded no small amount of loyalty, and some of our longest-serving soldiers seemed lost without him. Indeed, a number of them left. Not that we blame you, of course. Without you and yours, we would still be blind to the error of our ways. Anyway, funding permitting, I propose replenishing our ranks with volunteers from the derelicts and Gate Town. We have a duty to protect not only Yulmore, you see, but the surrounding region of Kosaria as well, and I, for one, would welcome any man or woman willing to take up arms for the cause. Indeed, I told him as much, and he seemed relieved to hear it. It was on that note that we parted ways. He headed outside, as I recall. I recall a man fitting that description asked to speak with the poor buggers later came from Wright. Said he wanted to know the state of things down in the derelicts, and you can be sure we gave him an earful. Lack of food, medicines, clothing, there was plenty to tell. We hunt high and low for whatever we can scavenge, and it's barely enough to fill our bellies. But folk here don't just want to survive, they want to thrive. When he heard that, he started mumbling to himself something about finding us work, I think. Fair play to him, though. Not content with having his ears chewed about the derelict, he asked about the other settlements and all. About after that, I can't really say. Looked like he was heading for Gate Town when last I saw him. chicken. No, I won't just eat them already. Sure, they're useless, what with not being able to lay eggs and all. But we're friends now. Eh? But chicken. Bit the chicken. Do it. Do it. Bit the chicken. Chicken demand pets. There you are. How did you fare? Have you learned anything which might offer a clue to Master Chai's whereabouts? Interesting. He apparently paid a visit to the Queen Bee as well. They discussed the possibility of granting admission to customers from outside Gilmore, an idea to which the proprietor was surprisingly receptive. Sounds like he's got plans for the place. Gilmore, I mean, not the bee. Perhaps, but the question remains, where did he go after leaving the city? And that'll be it for this episode. We'll look for Master Chai in the next. Till then.